Welcome aboard, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health, welcoming you to another live version of Fire Your MD Now. Please check the website out, fireyourmdnow.com, fireyourmdnow.com. The live show call-in number, 866-582-9933. Give me a call. The lines are open today, 866-582-9933. And if you're listening to the podcast, would like help ordering the supplements or just getting a little bit more info about what we're up to here, that number, 855-347-3696, 855-347-3696. Both numbers are, of course, toll-free, and free is a pretty good price, right? Hey, later on in the show today, it's Terrific Tuesdays with Mike Randolph, when we're going to talk about all things relating to your longevity business. Mike is coming up in the second half of this program, so I'm looking forward to that. We always have a very good time when Mike Randolph shows up, so stay tuned for that, ladies and gentlemen. And, you know, I'm listening to the news today, and there are two notable things that caught my eye. Number one, the Pope. The Pope is retiring. What the heck? The first time in 600 years an active Pope has retired, for goodness sake. You know, the last time, 1413 or something like that. That's a long time. 600 years. Oh, but he's getting old. He's only 85, right? And so when people listen to this, they think it's reasonable to assume, oh, yeah, well, he's 85, right? He's 85. That's just par for the course. His health is getting worse because that's just what happens when you get older, and that's life. That's how it goes. And then there's another guy in his 30s, drops dead getting off of a United Airlines flight, right? He's walking up the jetway, boom, keel's over, he's dead. Still trying to figure out what it was. Well, we know it wasn't a bullet wound. We know it wasn't a knife wound. We know it wasn't trauma to his body. It had to be something internal, right? And so when you're 30 years old and you keel over for no reason, that is because of a chronic health condition, an internal health condition. Why do people have chronic health conditions? Because they have the wrong doctor. Why is the Pope sickly and getting sicker and worser every year at 85 years of age when his genetic potential is 120? Because he has the wrong doctors. But when we hear stories about this, hear stories like this, do we think, holy crap, another failure of conventional medicine? Is that what we think first? No. You think to yourself, oh, he must have had a bad gene. Oh, who knows what it was. That poor guy, I wonder how his family is. Oh, the Pope. That's just life. That's how it is when you're in your 80s. Well, no, it's not. And no, it's not. But this is the extent of our enculturation. Again, this is how far down the rabbit hole we have gone into Wonderland, where up is down, left is right, constant surveillance is liberty, everybody being broke, that's a free market economy. And the leading cause of death in the United States, the leading cause of bankruptcy, MD-directed medicine equals the best medicine on the planet. You've got to be kidding me. You need to start thinking about things appropriately. Please. Your life is at stake. Your very life and your liberty are both at stake. From the proper perspective, everything makes sense. From the proper perspective, everything makes sense. Survivalists will tell you that, hey, if you're lost in the wilderness, what do? Climb to the top of a tree, climb to the top of a hill, climb to a vantage point so you can see where you are and plot your escape route. Not a bad idea. Well, we need perspective. We need perspective in life as well. So when a 30-year-old drops dead suddenly, on the, where, I don't care where they are, boom, they keel over and they're dead and they're 30 years old. You got to start thinking to yourself, another medical failure. Here's how my thought process goes. Holy smokes, another medical failure. I wonder how much money that guy spent in his life on medical insurance. All that money. For what? Add it up. $400 a month? So let's do the math. $400 a month times 12 months, that's $4,800. Let's round it up to $5,000 a year. $5,000 a year. Probably started buying medical insurance when he was 25. Now he's 30. That's 5 years. That's 25 grand. That's 25 grand gone. Might be more than that. 25 grand. What did he get for 25 grand? What did he get for 30 grand? What did he get for 40 grand? What did he get for whatever he spent? He got jack. He got nothing. How good do you think the Pope's medical insurance is? How good do you think the Pope's medical insurance is? You know how rich the Vatican is? Oh my God. It's not even funny how rich the Vatican is. Pope has access to the best physicians in the world. He's 85 years old. He's on death's doorstep. He's a classic. The Pope, by the way. I mean, God bless him. Whatever. I'm not bashing the Catholics. I could, but I won't. The Pope, yeah, he's a classic picture of a copper deficiency. What happens when you have a copper deficiency? Well, your body loses the ability to make pigment, so your hair turns white. Or first it goes gray, then it goes white. That's a copper deficiency. That's also a deficiency in the amino acid tyrosine. Your body needs tyrosine and copper in order to make pigment. Another thing that happens when you have a copper deficiency is your skin becomes paper thin and you get spider veins, varicose veins, or hemorrhoids. Spider veins, varicose veins, or hemorrhoids. Now, I'm not saying that the Pope has hemorrhoids, but if I had to put my money on whether the Pope has hemorrhoids or not, I'm saying he does, because look at his hair. It is jet white, and that is not a function of aging. It is not a function of aging. Look at Dr. Wallach. 73, 74 years old, I forget. I always get it wrong. He's, let's say, 73. Let's err on the side of conservatism. That Wallach's hair is black. A couple of strands of gray in there. I don't know anybody else in their 70s who has dark hair and it's not dyed or colored. I don't know anybody. Dr. Wallach's isn't, because he's been mineralized his entire life, and that's a game changer. And you mark my words, if the Pope dies suddenly, it's going to be from a burst aortic aneurysm, which is the end stage of a copper deficiency. By the way, another thing that happens when you're deficient in copper is your body loses the ability to manufacture a molecule called elastin. Elastin. Now, what do you think elastin does? That's right. You're the smartest audience in class. Elastin makes your body elastic. It gives tissue, it makes your tissues firm and elastic. So when your body runs out of elastin, things start to sag. I mean, look at the Pope's face. He's got big hanging down jowls. He's got those big, bags under his eyes. They're hanging down just like Albert Einstein. Pull up a picture of Albert Einstein's face, and put it next to a picture of the Pope's face, and you can see identical copper deficiencies. It's staring you right in the face. But because you've never been educated about this, you think, oh, that's just life. You don't know it's a copper deficiency. Oh, you think, oh, it's just his genes. That's just the way that it is. No, it's not. This is how it goes when you're copper deficient. This is how it goes when you're amino acid deficient. This is how it goes when you are deficient in essential nutrients your entire life. I mean, the human body has such resiliency. The human body has such tenacity. Life finds a way with such tenacity that you can be an alcoholic, homeless, drug addict and live to be 48 years of age. Because there's a little bit of nutrition in the Ripple. There's a little bit of nutrition in the hot dog that you get from the shelter, right? There's a little bit of nutrients there, and that little bit of nutrition can keep your body alive for about 50 years. 50 years. You can make it living on nothing. Just about. That's how tenacious the human body, that's how much the human body wants to live. And dying in your 80s, suffering in your 80s, hobbling around, needing assistance, can't walk upstairs, you got to be kidding me. This is an unbelievable breakdown. It is an unbelievable example of modern Machiavellian medical mediocrity. Brought to you by your allopathic, pharmaceutical centrist, monopolistic, money-crazy MD. And, what do? We give them a pass. We never blame the doctors. We think, oh, that's just life. Oh, the poor Pope. Well, here's how I think. Oh, that Pope, man, he's got the wrong doctor. You know the Pope? Have the Pope call me. You have the Pope call me on the Hot Pope line. What's the Hot Pope line? 855-347-3696. That's the bat phone to me. 855-347-3696. You have the Pope call me up. I'll have the Pope back in the saddle in 12 months. 12 months. How are we going to do that? We're going to clean up his diet. We're going to have him stop eating wheat, barley, rye, and oats, oil in a bottle, fried food, well-done red meat, meat that has nitrates added as preservatives, the skins of baked potatoes, yams, and sweet potatoes, and carbonated beverages with a meal. I'm going to have him use real salt. I'm going to have him use real butter. I'm going to have him start eating high-fat foods, whole milk, cheese, yogurt, meat, rare meat, chicken, fish, rice and beans, red wine. Pretty sure he already does that. That's one good thing. Coffee, tea, and I'm going to give him the 90 essential nutrients appropriate for his body weight with, guess what, extra copper, because I know he needs that. Guaranteed he also needs calcium, extra calcium, guaranteed. There isn't anybody over 80 that doesn't have arthritis or high blood pressure. There's nobody. These things are chronic calcium deficiencies. It is a massive oversight, a massive breakdown of modern American medicine. And instead of pitying the poor Pope or that guy that dropped dead in United Airlines, in the jetway, you should be criticizing his medical professionals. They're the ones who are responsible for their ill health. Don't we go to them for health care? We do. But much to our chagrin, much to our dismay, as it turns out, they don't practice health care. They practice disease management. For profit. Disease management for profit, brought to you by Bus Driver MD. Well, guess what? Draw a line in the sand, this far and no further. I'm taking my health back with longevity. I'm taking my health back with science-based, clinically verified nutrition. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, 866-582-9933. Lines open. It is Sex Health Week, and this Thursday night, the webinar for subscribers only. Remember, we only do one free webinar a quarter, more or less. If you can convince me, maybe I'll do another one in March. I'm not sure. But this Thursday night, it's all about sex health. The webinar from 8 o'clock Central to 9 o'clock Central. Got to be a subscriber to get a hold of that one, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to give you information about stuff that you had no idea about, completely outside of your frame of reference, about stuff that you can do right now in order to support and promote the health of your body's reproductive cycle, have a much better, more enjoyable experience of sexuality, and, of course, avoid the big no-nos, breast cancer, prostate cancer, and so forth and so on. You're not going to want to miss it. That's this Thursday night, 8 o'clock Central Time. For information on how to subscribe to that, please visit fireyourmdnow.com. That's fireyourmdnow.com. Well, it's one of my favorite days of the week, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to talk to Mike Randolph about everything having to do with vitamin M. Mike, welcome back.
Hey, Doc. How's it going?
Yeah, it's going really good, man. I always look forward to talking to you. Now listen. Here's what I always like to talk to you, Mike, because there's no BS here. Yeah, I really appreciate the fact that you just lay it right on the line and tell it like it is, without any obfuscation, without any fluff, without any any nonsense, right? So let's just get right down to it right away. From your point of view, when people are involved in a longevity business, what is the biggest stumbling block, the biggest mistake that they make in starting up their business and in trying to get their business rolling? What's the biggest mistake that people generally make?
Oh, well, we could talk about a lot of different things, but, Doc, I think what it really is, it's the same mistake that people make with regards to their health and wellness, is they rely on the training that they have received their whole life from corporate America that says you have to trade your time for money, that you're only worth this much. And when you start a business with longevity, when you go out there, you venture on your own, when you're ready to, slay the dragons of your vitamin M deficiencies, and if you rely on the system that's been keeping you broke, if you rely on that kind of training, then you know what? You set yourself up for disaster, because you don't get paid to put in your time with longevity. You only get paid for results. And the beautiful thing about our system is we don't care how much time it takes for you to achieve a result. You're going to get paid for it. Whether it takes you 5 years, 5 days, or 5 minutes to achieve a result, you're going to get paid. And we're going to teach you how to leverage not just your time, but the time of others, the energy and the efforts of others. And that's probably the biggest stumbling block, Dr. Glidden, is that people rely on the wrong training. We've grown up in this corporate America system that says punch the clock, that says show up on Monday at 9 a.m. and leave at 5 p.m. and you're going to get paid at the end of the week. Trading our time for money is definitely not how you build a giant business here at Longevity.
Well, here's the deal. All right, so I get that. So now people have been moving forward with that model their whole life. They finally start to see the light, and they're seeing that, holy smokes, you know what? There is a better way. And so they pony on up, belly on up to the bar and become a longevity distributor. So now they're a longevity distributor. And when you become a longevity distributor, finally, what do you think the biggest drawback is to people being successful in longevity?
Well, once people become a distributor, I think one of the big things is that they think they need to learn everything about everything before they can go out and do anything.
Exactly.
For you, Dr. Glidden, I don't want to count the number of years that you've dedicated to your education. I know that Dr. Wallach has decades upon decades of education. We don't have the time, we don't have the energy, and dare I say, we don't have the brain power to become a Dr. Wallach, to become a Dr. Glidden. And unfortunately, a lot of folks, again, because of their corporate America training, they think that all of that skill rests on their shoulders. The beautiful thing is, it doesn't.
Yeah, see, this is the thing, ladies and gentlemen. I love to play golf, and I'm a little pig-headed. I'm a little strong-minded and a little pig-headed. And there's something called coachability. You're either coachable or you're not. You're either open to listening, to doing things a different way, listening, following the advice of people who've already been there and done that. And longevity has a system built into the cake, baked into the cake, that teaches you how to be successful. And Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health, your friendly neighborhood naturopath, talking to Mike Randolph. Let's give him a round of applause. Always good to see you, Mike. So here's the deal. So somebody finally sees the light. They're tired of their job, and they want to start to make a difference in their financial life by becoming a longevity distributor. Now, once they've become a longevity distributor, what happens next?
Well, it's pretty simple. We've launched a campaign. We call it the Healthy Body Challenge. We want them to take the challenge, which means they start with the Healthy Body Pack, also known as the Healthy Start Pack, and start to experience what happens to your body when it gets those 90 essential nutrients that you talk about so much. And then, to be honest with you, Doc, all we want them to do is to take that challenge and share it with other folks. Let them know what their results are. Let them know what happens when you become part of longevity. Not only do you get your body under control, you get your finances under control at the same time as your business starts to grow. And we really just want them to follow that. We have all the systems in place. We've got resources in place so people can figure out the extra little secret sauce, as you guys call it, that they may need to add to their Healthy Start plan. But other than that, you never need to become an expert at anything. Just follow the system, go out there, repeat the process, share the same story, do it again and again and again, teach other people to do the same thing, and before you know it, you're not just relying on your own efforts, you're actually leveraging the efforts of other people, leveraging the results of other people, And that's when you can make money while you're sleeping, while you're awake, whether you roll over or whether you roll out of bed.
And, this is the thing. It's like having thousands of employees without having to pay salaries, without having to pay, enrollment tax, payroll tax, any of that nonsense. And as an exact juxtaposition against corporate America, the more money that the people in your network make, the more money that you make. So rather than having your pseudo-employees be paid less and less, you want them to make more and more. It's the exact opposite. And I can't stress enough, ladies and gentlemen, the simple system that's involved here. You don't even have to know how to spell the word vitamin in order to be successful with longevity. It is a simple system. You don't have to become the chef. You take people to the restaurant. You don't have to become the artist. You take people to the museum. You don't have to become the chef. You just take people to the restaurant. This is our whole thing. So what do? Here's the simple system. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. You find somebody who's struggling with health, or you find somebody who's struggling with wealth. Now, throw a stick. Go to the mall and get one of those little golf wiffle balls and just throw it up in the air, and whoever picks it up, I can guarantee you, they're struggling with a health issue or they're struggling with a wealth issue. And so you approach them and say, listen, I know a doctor nominated for the Nobel Prize who says you don't have to suffer with that. Or I'm starting a home-based business. I'm looking for people to work with. I don't know if you're one of them. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. If I lend you this CD, will you listen to it? That's all that you do. You lend CDs, you recover CDs, you invite people to live introduction to longevity events that are happening in your town, in your neighborhood, and if there aren't any happening in your town or neighborhood, you bring them to a webinar. We've got 1, 2, 3 webinars a week, 3 live webinars a week. The company has conference calls on the phone all the time. There's all of these things that you can plug your prospects into, and this is all that you do. You lend CDs, you recover CDs, you invite people to events, and then you sign them up appropriately. This is all that we do. We're not selling a darn thing. Longevity distributors are not selling anything. They're just showing people what they're up to and seeing if they would like to do it too. Now, Mike, since you've been on board with longevity, how much has the company grown, and what do you see for the future?
Well, that's a great question, and one that just gives me goosebumps, because over the last 14 months, this company has grown from, a great level, over 300%, to an even greater level. And it's a matter of timing for a lot of people. You talked about taking people to the museum or taking them to the restaurant. We're not salespeople necessarily. It's not our jobs to convince people to like the art. It's not our jobs to convince people to like the food. We're just out there trying and finding the people the time is right. And the beautiful thing about what's going on in our economy right now is the time is right for more and more people every day. In fact, Newsweek magazine, I believe, was quoted as saying over the next 36 months, 2/3 of the American households will be involved in a home-based business. If that is not a telling statistic, I'm not sure what is, because people are starting to realize that it's not up to the government to take care of us. It's not up to the corporations to take care of us. It's up to ourselves to take care of ourselves, and it can be done so easily and so completely with longevity. And we couldn't be in a better place. Our goals for 2013, I don't even want to share them with you, but I will tell you this. A year from now, we'll be on a call just like this, sharing even greater growth numbers than we can about 2012.
Well, because this is, in fact, like a runaway train, and the only thing that you have to do to be successful with longevity is tell the truth. There's no hyperbole here. There's no conflation. There's no inflation. There's no bending the truth. All we do is we speak the truth, and the truth has a ring to it. And as some philosopher, I forget who it was, maybe Voltaire, said that once you've experienced the truth, you're in its velvet grasp forever, right? 2 + 2 is 4. It's always going to be 4. Even in caveman days when they didn't even know what mathematics was, 2 + 2 was 4, because that's the truth. The truth of the matter is that your body needs 90 essential nutrients, and when you give it 90 essential nutrients and stop eating food that's gumming up the works, your body fixes itself to a remarkable degree. And this is our message. It's straightforward, it's timely, and given the fact that everybody is extremely vitamin M deficient, everybody is hurting for certain for money, this is an excellent opportunity, which brings up another point I want to discuss, Mike. You know, there are one of the greatest failures in my life. You know, it's always like retrospect makes wise men and women of us all, right? If I only knew then what I know now. Well, 19 years ago, I knew who Dr. Wallach was. I paid no attention to him because all that I knew about Doc was that he had a network marketing business, and that's all that I needed to know, because I had a built-in prejudice against network marketing. I didn't even know what it was, but I didn't like it. I felt that I was above that, right? So, and it was one of the greatest mistakes of my life. And, you know, there were things happen for a reason and all of that, but yeah, I can only imagine where I would be financially today had I hitched my cart to Dr. Wallach's wagon 19 years ago. So from your perspective, as somebody who's been in this industry, in multi-level marketing, in network marketing, when you compare Youngevity's opportunity, Youngevity's compensation plan with that offered by other companies, I mean, is there, in fact, a comparison?
Well, there really isn't, and I have been in this industry now. My 21st anniversary is coming up this Sunday, and it's amazing to me to think that 21 years ago I finally got my head out of corporate America and started working on my own life. But in that 20-year span of time, I have been involved with some of the greatest companies in direct sales. I even had my own company during that time, and I'll tell you, there is no compensation system, no company, no product line, no group of leaders, no group of staff. I don't care what angle you examine Youngevity from, you will find the best of the best of the best, and that goes right down to the fact that we have more people collecting checks every single week than I believe any other company out there, not just in direct sales, not just in network marketing, but in health and nutrition. And it really makes you feel good every Monday morning when you jump up out of bed, realizing that you're going to spend the next week helping people transform their lives, both physically and financially.
And in the history of Youngevity, since Youngevity has been a networked business, how many times has the company been late with a check for its distributors?
That would be a big zero.
Zero. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not, this isn't a Ponzi scheme where you steal from Peter and you pay Paul, and then the owners of the company, abscond to Tahiti with millions of dollars. Youngevity's been around for 17-plus years. They have no debt. They own all of their real estate. They've never been late with a check. Dr. Wallach set this company up to be extremely user-friendly because he set it up with one intention and one intention only. Dr. Wallach saw from a very early age that the way that medicine was set up in the United States, it was completely controlled by the pharmaceutical company. So in order to bring his message of health recovery through science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition, there's no way on God's green earth he could do that through the front door, through normal research avenues. Can't do it because that way is guarded by the drug companies. So he set Youngevity up with an exorbitant payment plan for its distributors. I mean, Youngevity pays you handsomely and easily without hardly any stress to forward Dr. Wallach's message, and Wallach set it up like this on purpose. The compensation plan that Youngevity offers is extremely user-friendly, and don't trust me. Well, you should trust me, for goodness sake. Let me take that back. Trust me. The compensation plan that Youngevity has is unrivaled by any other, and check it out for yourself. Not all wines are created equal. Not all rose bushes are the same. Not all chicken soups are the same. The recipe's different for each and every one of them. It's no different with a network marketing business. Check out Youngevity's compensation plan. You're going to love what you see. You're going to love the potential that it brings you. And really, once you get into this driver's seat, it is all a self-fulfilling prophecy. There's nobody that's going to be calling you up that's going to say, hey, Harry, you should have sold more stuff this week. It's not like that. You motivate yourself. There's lots of help. If you call up somebody on your own and ask for help, they are right there to have your back. And that's the last thing I want to talk to you about, Mike, in the last minute and a half here. Tell me real quickly about the support that's built in to becoming a Youngevity business owner.
Well, we have, we're fortunate to be a kind of a bi-coastal company. We've got offices on the East Coast up here in New England. We've got offices on the West Coast in San Diego. And it covers the widest range for customer service. We're open early. We're open late. They're staffed all the time. And let me just tell you the kind of heart that this company has all the way from the top. December, Christmas rolls around. It's kind of a stressful time for people. Payday fell on a Saturday because that's just the way the calendar worked out. So what Steve Wallach did, he goes, people want Christmas. We don't want them to wait until Monday. We're going to pay everyone early. We're not going to pay everyone on Monday like any other company would do. We're going to pay everybody early. And that kind of attitude permeates every section of this organization, all the way down to the guys in the mailroom, all the way down to the guys driving the forklifts in the warehouse. We want to get it right, and that's because this company was built by folks just like me and you that started from the bottom, worked our way up through the distribution network, and built a distributor's company.
Ladies and gentlemen, straight from the horse's mouth, check it out. You don't know what you're missing. If you're suffering from a vitamin M deficiency, Youngevity is your solution. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health. If you want to join Youngevity, you're the smartest person in the world. Go to fireyourmdnow.com, fireyourmdnow.com, and right there on the front bar, on the menu bar, click on the, guess what, Join Youngevity button, follow the steps, and then someone from my team or myself personally will be in touch with you to show you what to do next. We're going to hold your hand. We're all in this together. Remember what Benjamin Franklin said. Ladies and gentlemen, we all need to hang together, because if we don't, we most assuredly will hang alone. We've got your back. Speaking about getting your back, we're going to go right to the phone now. Craig's been holding on for too long. Thanks so much for your patience, Craig. It's your turn on Fire Your MD Now. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. How are you today?
Fine, thanks. What's up?
Well, there's several things, but first of all, this is kind of a warm-up maybe for the sex ed class. I had taken ED drugs for about 10 months and started I was having vertigo back around December. I don't know if that was really related. And then got a cold about, 4 weeks ago, and started having, sinus issues, and was using a CPAP, and I think it's pushed it into my station tube, and now my ears are just, they'll ring pretty bad off and on. I've got a lot of pressure in my right ear, and it's not, it just doesn't seem like it wants to release. So I've had a strange kind of like phantom smell that started around, say, December, but I've been scanned, and they say there's nothing there. So I right now I'm on diuretic. And so that's kind of where I'm at. And the only other thing I've heard of is maybe prednisone steroid pack, but I don't want to go there. And I wanted to talk to you and see what you thought.
All right. Well, look, man, let me tell you what to do. There's a lot of ways to kind of skin this cat, but the first thing to think about when you're up against an issue like this with chronic sinusitis. And, so it's my opinion that there are two things that are going on here. Number one, the most common cause of ringing in the ears and vertigo, and on top of that, peculiar smells in your nose, peculiar smells or peculiar tastes for that matter. These all trace back to osteoporosis of the skull. There are these little nerves that come out of your brain that go to your eyes, ears, nose, mouth, and throat. And to get to the eyes, ears, nose, mouth, and throat, they got to go through little tunnels in the brain. And tunnels in the skull. And when your skull is strong and healthy and has all the nutrients it needs, those tunnels have strong tunnel walls. But when your skull or your skeleton starts to run out of nutrients, the tunnel walls become weak and they start to cave in, and the body doesn't like that. So what does the body do? It braces the little tunnel with connective tissue. Connective tissue should not be there, but now it's there to keep the tunnel from collapsing, to keep you from going deaf, dumb, or blind. Well, that's a good thing, but the connective tissue shouldn't be there, and invariably when it's there, it rubs up against a nerve. And if it's the nerve that goes to your inner ear, you get dizzy. If it's the nerve that goes to your eardrum, you get ringing in the ears. If it's the nerve that goes to your nose, you get weird tastes. If it's the nerve that goes to your tongue, weird smells. If it's the nerve that goes to your tongue, you get weird tastes, and so forth and so on. Now, if you had a cut in your hand and you squeezed lemon juice in it, it would sting. But if you squeezed lemon juice into the other hand, it wouldn't sting, right? So when you have sinusitis, on top of a calcium deficiency, this osteoporosis of the skull with the game is afoot in those tunnels and they're collapsing, and then on top of that, you get a sinus condition, that's going to make everything worse. I mean, it's going to aggravate all of your symptoms because that's like kicking somebody when they're down. So my advice here is that we always try to get to the root cause of the problem. The root cause of you is supporting and promoting the health of your skeleton and, of course, your skull bone, and then doing some other stuff secondarily to try to clean up and unclog the mucus congestion in your sinuses. And stick around with me for just a little longer, Craig. We're up against a hard break. I will dial all of this in for you when we come back. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, and this is Fire Your MD Now.